Jamie, Andy, great to have you with me here. Quite a lot's been going on with the club at the moment, right across the club. I think, Jamie, I'll start with you. What are we, 3 or 4 weeks back into academy, fully working, the first team being back for a while. How's things going with the protocols and everything that we're still living under?
No, things have been going really well. We're one of the teams that's actually in a lucky position that we can get back as soon as possible. So as soon as we got the notification out on the Thursday that we were able to return to training, everything was in place for the girls returning on the Friday. We had Zoom meetings with the coaches, with the players and the parents, and then we just made sure all the facilities had the right protocols in place to allow us to go back, and thankfully everything was ready to go. And just to see all the players back out in the pitch is amazing after being out for so long. So everybody's really excited to be back.
What's been the consensus like in the last 3 or 4 months since the lockdown at Christmas time? Has it been really difficult, or has everyone kind of managed to kind of re-gel and rebond doing things on Zoom like they did this time last year?
Yeah, no, it's been really successful on Zoom. All the teams have had their own kind of Zoom meetings, whether it's for the nines, if it was just to say hello to their friends and maybe do some fun quizzes, or at the other side of things with the 19s kind of doing regular fitness sessions and kind of ball mastery kind of stuff, which has been really, really difficult. But all the teams and the coaches have managed to adapt, similar to the last lockdown, and I'm sure they're all delighted to be off of Zoom and back on the pitch.
Absolutely, and there were some big things happening last week, which we'll come to shortly. Andy, you here from Athlete Focus, big part of Glasgow City now as the club's evolving to this professional era, and I think something we were talking before this interview about the changing landscape of the women's game. And before talking about the academy, Andy, it's been busy time for you, as I say, with the kind of Athlete Focus enhancing what it's doing with the club. You've been kind of working with the first team for a few weeks since being allowed to kind of train again. Games about to restart. How's things from your perspective with this restart?
It's been brilliant getting back on the pitch. Just as Jamie was saying before, I think the first session that we went back, I've never heard such as loud and bouncy group in training, and obviously with so many new players as well. There was some players hadn't met each other, and we'd done different Zoom things to try and keep them engaged as well. We had the professional ballet dancer on working with the girls. So we've had lots of going on, but there's nothing beats being back on the pitch. And obviously we're lucky in that we've had testing, so they've been able to do normal football sessions. So it's been really, really good. It's been a tough few weeks for them. It's almost like a mini pre-season before games start. But yeah, it's been good, and we just can't wait for the weekend and have to see how everything goes once we get back into games.
Yeah, absolutely. And you talking about the buzz and the squad's changed quite a bit even from the first part of the season, but even in your time being involved with the club, you've now got an army involved with the club these days. How exciting is this for you and Athlete Focus to be working with Glasgow City at the first team and now filtering down into the academy?
Yeah, it's so good. So I myself have been working with the club for maybe a year now, and the changes in that year have been huge. And since December, January time, being able to start to look at the club as a whole and how we can progress players from 8 years old all the way up to the first team, it's hugely exciting. Myself and Stephen at Athlete Focus, it's been a massive challenge to start to work with what is, I don't know, 150 something players. But it's been brilliant, and we've got help from numerous different students across various different universities. So it's been great as well from that perspective to bring lots more faces and lots more people down to the club, which is brilliant.
And last Friday, the academy had a kind of profiling night. It's a great night, a Friday night, because pretty much everyone's there from all the youth teams. So, in a layman's terms, for people watching on, can you explain what the process of that is and how much of potential of a game changer it is for our academy players?
Yeah, it wasn't such a great night on Friday night because there was hailstones, there was rain, there was every weather you could think of. But in layman's terms, it was a night where we just got to see the players do some basic movements, whether that's squatting, whether that's doing press ups. We also got to see them running and how quick they are, so we can compare them across different teams. And really just get an insight into what these players are like, so that we can be much more impactful with what we do. We want to be able to help the players very specifically, and it's not just one size fits all. So it was brilliant. I think we had, over the Friday night and the Saturday, we had 127 players come through. And in fact, the social distancing probably helped that, because we were able to get a nice system of them coming through, and the students were there, and we get to film them doing their exercises. I've just spent the last few days now having a look at them, see if there's any themes that we can work on straight away with the coaches, so that we can try to identify areas where maybe we can reduce injuries, and also try to ultimately improve performance and try and get as many players through the academy and up into the first team as possible.
Jamie, I mean, the academy's always been, a bit of a beacon, particularly for young girls, compared to, other clubs, have had growing academies over the years. Glasgow City's been leading the way for a number of years. And, players have made their way to the first team, but, sometimes it maybe felt like there's squads of teams, and that's kind of it. Whereas now this feels like a far more dynamic approach, particularly, players that maybe are looking towards elite football. They've now have this platform to really work really hard to potentially make it to first team.
Yeah, absolutely. And ultimately, as Andy says there, we want to, as an academy, provide as many opportunities to the first team for our academy players as possible. And in the last few years, we've been able to do that. Having Athlete Focused on board now really is just going to take our academy to the next level. And one of the big things that we want to do as a club is kind of raise our professional standards, not just only at club level, but also that has to replicate throughout the academy as well. And this is going to take us to the next level. So every girl in the academy is going to get an athletic profile, and they're also going to get individual development programs to go along with the athletic profile. So in terms of introducing sports science and nutrition at such a young age, it's only going to benefit the girls going forward in their careers. So it's absolutely massive for us, and we're really looking forward to it.
I guess the big message as well is, and this might apply to both of you, whoever wants to jump in on this one, is that it's about nutrition. It's about thinking about the future. And not everyone's going to be a first team player, but obviously you're wanting girls to play football wherever that could be in the end. Hopefully many in Glasgow City, but it's just about, I guess, the best life experiences ahead of them before they become an adult.
I think from our perspective at Athlete Focus, we try to be holistic in what we do. So it's about that athlete as an athlete, but also as a person. So even nutrition, for example, it'll be teaching them cooking skills. So if they go away and they live away from home, or they've got those skills immediately, they go to university, they can do that. A lot of the psychology stuff we do is about your values and how you live life as a person, not only on the field, but off the field. So I think that was something that really got me hooked in at the club, was that we're there to help these women and girls to be better people as well as better footballers. And I think that fits with our ethos perfectly. And it's something that hopefully we can develop alongside Jamie, all the coaches, and the first team coaches, and Scott and Laura and Cass as well. It's huge that everything's in an alignment, and that's what we want to try and help bring to it, and bring those standards right across the board.
And looking on from that, it's all very exciting at the moment. What is is there a kind of roadmap of where to go from here, and is there any challenges that are going to be ahead because of the kind of COVID restrictions we're under at the moment?
So the roadmap, I guess, we've done a bit of an audit of the whole kind of performance and physical, mental performance of the club, and that'll finish off come June time, and then we'll roll out specific kind of curriculum within sessions. and that should, as long as the COVID roadmap continues, that should happen quite seamlessly. And in some ways, we've been able to use the time over the last few months to really get an idea of the club. It's not just been the profiling. We've had every player doing a survey, whether it's parents and the players themselves, to get information. And then we'll look to progress that throughout the summer and continue to do these profiling events 3 or 4 times a year, so that we can try to change our plan when we need to and progress where is appropriate, so that we can move players on to the next stage of their development. So I don't think the plan should be affected too much by COVID, but you never know in this day and age. But we can take things as been shown by Jamie. It can be taken onto Zoom if we have to, and probably showing everyone that there's a flexibility within the club there to keep progressing.
Yeah, roadmaps is a bit of a buzzword at the moment. Final kind of word, the final one for you, Jamie. I guess there's, it's maybe hard to convey, but I think people are involved, players are involved, parents are involved, even going up to the first team, the changes happening at the club. This is a really, hopefully, exciting era for the academy, for the entire club, as the kind of next wave of the women's football progression is happening in Scotland.
Absolutely, and just by announcing this partnership with Andy and Athletes Focused, it is going to be exciting. It's not all going to be rolled out at once. It's a steady process, and we've made that clear to all the players and parents that we're going to be rolling this out gradually. As you say, it's an exciting time around women's football just now. It just seems to be getting better and bigger, which is amazing. And as an academy, we have to match that. And by getting this agreement with Andy, we're certainly on the way to do that.